We all know that stories are important for entertaining people and making us laugh and making us feel a myriad of emotions. But there's other reasons that storytelling is so important. What are some of those reasons?
Yeah, if we could start with some of the science, there's what I love to call the 5 factory settings of the brain. Like once you understand how your brain works, you can use stories as a hack to them. So the first is that our brains are lazy. The number one goal our brain has is get through the day without anything different from yesterday. Let's conserve as many calories as possible, because if it conserves calories, then that saves it in case there's an emergency or some other part of the body wants it. So your brain wants you to do the same thing the same way every day because that's the easiest for survival. So one of the first things you have to do in storytelling is, how do you make the brain spend some calories and think about things that are unexpected or different than you thought? A second is that we're processing 32 gigabytes of information every day. And that comes in so quick. So of course, we're going to stick it in our file system in our brain of, do I know what this is? Is this new? Does this need a new folder? And with that comes a whole bunch of assumptions. And when you tell a story, you're connecting to what people know, and you're helping that connection, understanding, and filing go faster. We make assumptions. Part of that survival is that we are filling in gaps quickly as we're processing that 32 gigabytes of information. So as we're listening to something, our brain is always jumping ahead. This is why you're watching the movie and you're trying to figure out who did it when you're in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And part of a good story is you've got to slow down that assumption making. So not only are you having to make the brain spend calories, file the information right, but you have to slow down the assumptions, which means you have to have some details in there that engage the senses and are unexpected to people. And stories are such a great way to create that idea of in and out groups. Our survival is dependent on being in groups where we are with people that can help us in the early days, hunt for food and survive and get shelter, but in days like today, just be able to live. And so we're always looking for groups that we are similar to or where we're different from. And stories give you that connection of, oh yes, this is me, or nope. And stories are helping with that. And the last is that we have all these hormones that, in the simplest terms, are causing us to either seek pleasure or abundance of something or avoid pain and try to avoid something. And so once you start to understand that the brain is going to be trying to conserve calories and seek pleasure and avoid pain and look for belonging and make assumptions and find ways to file information, like then you start to realize, oh, there's like neurologically, there's ways to go about this to create more understanding.